What is up, y'all? This is Evan with Atmotac Outdoors. I've got an extremely powerful 50 caliber air gun here called the AEA Element Max, and we are going to be testing a few different types of hunting slugs in this fresh block of ballistics gel, calibrated to FBI standards, as you can see. Got an old block to put behind it also, because these slugs right here out of this gun, we're putting out over 500 foot-pounds, which is a lot of energy, and that's a lot of weight. These are 315 grain. So hopefully we catch them with both of these. We are going to go ahead and kick this off with a 315 grain hollow point. And we've got about 32 inches of ballistics gel. That's 16 inches. That knife is 16 inches for reference. Hopefully we can catch it. We've got a very nice energy dump there at the beginning. And we've got about 9.5 inches of penetration. More like 10 3/4, but it bounced back a little bit. And it does look like it expanded very nicely in there. Of course, we will pull them all out afterwards, but that is a very nice bubble that it made. Very nice. Next up, we have this 260 grain shallow hollow point. Okay, very similar results from the 260 grain. A little bit less penetration, and the initial bubble is a little smaller and shorter. Now we have a 235 grain NSA. Interesting. So it looks like it went all the way through. Yep, it went all the way through the gel. Not a very big initial energy dump like the other two. And then I'm assuming it just bounced off of this one and fell right there. All right, next up we've got the 238 grain very deep hollow point. I know this is not going to penetrate far, but it is going to dump some crazy energy on impact. Okay, this is very interesting, guys. It looks like we actually achieved ignition inside of that bubble. It expanded so much that when it came back and compressed, it was actually able to ignite inside of there, just like many firearms do. That is very cool. And then look at that slug. We will pull it out in a minute and y'all can see it better, but that is very cool. I can't wait to look at the slow-mo. Now, all of y'all deniers out there saying that there's no air gun that produces hydrostatic shock, what is that, dude? I'm gonna flip this block over and we will move to the solids. I'm pretty sure these two will probably just go right through. Well, probably the round ball too. We'll see. 230 grain wad cutters. Okay, as I expected, it went straight through. through that one, through this one. Okay, and it stopped right there. Not really much deformation at all. Pretty much just a penetrator. 215 grain, which I'm assuming will probably do the same. Went straight through, went through this block, and then stopped in the second block. And no deformation either. Now we already know this 50 cal round ball will probably just go right through, but we're gonna do it anyway for science. Okay, we got another pass through and also another one stuck in the second block. It did smash the front a little, it looks like, but not really any deformation other than that. Okay, here are the results. We got about 6.5 inches of penetration out of the 238 grain deep hollow point and massive cavitation, massive energy dump. This would be extremely effective really on anything. I mean, 6.5 is definitely enough to kill a deer or a hog or whatever. And then out of the shallow 260 grain hollow point, we got about 9 3/4 of penetration, pretty good cavitation, pretty good energy dump, not quite as much expansion as the 310 grain. 310 grain did very, very well. 10 3/4 of penetration, massive cavitation, a nice long steady energy dump. That plus the amount of penetration it got makes this my favorite deer hunting slug, 100%. The NSA did pretty good on the initial cavitation, but not nearly as much as these two. But it got 16 inches of penetration, which is pretty cool. And then we have the 3 solid slugs. They all got around 23 inches of penetration. Not really any sort of energy dump, just pretty much poked a hole in it. Now we all want to know the energy numbers, right? So I'm going to shoot one of each through the chronograph. I'm tethered at 4,000 PSI. Y'all will be able to see the power numbers that these are making. Okay, I've got the 315 grain. Might need hearing protection. We got 804 out of the 315 grain. Now here I've got the 260 grain. We've got 880 out of the 260 grain. I accidentally put a 237 in there. 880 out of the 237 grain. Now we have the 260. $260 grain. We got 850 out of the 260 grain. Now I've got the 235 grain NSA. We got 887 out of that. Now I've got the 230 grain wad cutter. $872, 215 grain round nose. 878. Now we got the round ball. And our battery's dead. That sucks. Alright, we are back here at 100 yards from our shooting table now. And this is more or less the size of the kill zone on a deer, so I'm gonna pick my favorite slug and we're gonna take out this jug from 100 yards. And of course, I choose the 315 grain. Looks like it went all the way through the water jug. I just smashed this jug at 100 yards, so y'all smash the like button.